StreamYard is running at full capability today, baby. Guys, everybody, welcome into a Monday Night Buffoon and Bokkins. My name is Tanner Dawson of the Sports Buffoons and Whiskey Sports Podcast. And, of course, let's talk sports. Join with me every Monday, Mr. Nick Bokkins of the One Year Bokkins Show.
That's right, baby.
What's up, dude?
First of all, how is this? You know what? I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. We had that was the best intro we've had, and this is our final show. You kicked out the 70s porno music, and that was better. That was better. For the last 6 months, we've had porno music, we've had everything else, and then you finally on the last episode, you put up the best intro.
That's just things to come, baby. That's just things to come for this world that we're in, the Let's Talk Sports world. Yes, guys, Nick Bokkins is saying it is our last show of Buffoon and Bokkins, the final Monday of this show here. Of course, we got the regular guests here, Jim Behringer, Jonathan Grishman, and we're going to have a blast with it. We're going to be all about it. There will be no show next Monday for Memorial Day. So please enjoy the barbecue that you're going to go out to. Enjoy family time, or just simply relax and chill out. Have a beer, whatever you want to do. So I know I'll probably be doing all four of those things next Monday night. So there is stuff to come, guys. We got announcements. I don't know if you caught it on the Bokkins show last night. The big show where there's like 10 of us out there. We're having a blast here. There was a major announcement made on this Let's Talk Sports Network, including the Sports Buffoons, including the Bokkins Show, including the Whiskey Sports, aka me, and including a lot more of going on to play. Nick, I don't know if you're able to pull that file up because I'm not. So
I can. I wanted to make it like this big ordeal at first. Like I wanted that fake fight. We should have programmed that. And I was going to be like, I would be, if we were going to break up, I would be Shawn Michaels and you would be Marty Jannetty. And I would just kick you right through the barbershop. But instead we've come and played nice already. So there goes that. Let me pull up should we bring on our guest while I pull that up first?
Yeah, let's bring on our guest, guys. You know him every Monday night. This guy is going to be around for a bit. Don't you worry, Mr. Jim Behringer. Jim, what's up, dude?
What is up, boys? What's going on here? Final countdown before the new show.
Final countdown, baby.
We got Memorial Day next week. We got a lot of hockey to discuss. A lot of stuff on the ice, but a lot of stuff off the ice too. Hints. But don't you fear. Learning time with Jim is not going anywhere.
Are we going to have Behringer bombs today? Is that what we're hearing?
We might have some of that. We had a Behringer push, by the way, that's trademarked by Full Press Hockey. So,
Behringer push?
Behringer push. Because, Barkov got hurt tonight, so I don't know if it's a curse, but that's the injury ninja. That's somebody else. But prior to games one of both the Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals, I can go find them in my preview reports. I had said the key players to watch were Alexander Barkov for Florida. He has 2 goals in 2 games. And Jason Robertson for the Dallas Stars, who has 2 goals in 2 games. So, I'm just saying. They got a little nice bump.
Is there something in the water in Miami? Because you got the Heat, who are the 8th seed, up 3-0 on Boston. And the Miami, I call it Miami, but the Florida Panthers are up 2-0 on the Hurricanes, and they're the 8th seed. Is there just something down in the water in Miami? And I'm more interested in the Heat, but tell us why this Panthers team is up 2-0.
Look, Florida's, Toronto, they chanted, "We want Florida" after they beat Tampa. I don't know if that was a good idea. Omen. I heard Boston chants in the Celtics series after they beat Philadelphia, said bring on Miami. I was like, I don't know if you want to be doing that, putting that out in the world. They're finding out the hard way that South Florida is, here. I mean, now if the Dolphins could get going, look out. But look, Florida's playing well. Look, Sergei Bobrovsky, ever since he coming in the Boston series, Boston fans don't want to hear this, but he's the reason that Florida got through, and Matthew Tkachuk, obviously. But Bobrovsky's making the saves that he needs to make, and he shut down the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he's doing it again to the Carolina Hurricanes, and he's playing like a $10 million goalie. He's going on one of those runs that that's why teams win Stanley Cups. I mean, like J.S. Shigeru in 2003, though, again, sore subject because I'm a Devils fan and I don't think he deserves the Conn Smythe Trophy. That should have been Mr. Brodeur, as you can see over my shoulder. But that's besides the point. But that's the point. When you got a hot goalie, guys making saves like the other night in Game 2. Look, he makes a ridiculous save that he goes across. 9 times out of 10, that puck's going in the net, doesn't go off his blocker. He's not giving up 3 goals a game. The only team to get 3 goals by him was, Boston. And look, Seth Jarvis, hits a post in Game 1 in overtime, and then it goes 3 other overtimes. And then Matthew Tkachuk with the celebration, walking off, says, open the door, we're out of here. But Florida's playing a team game, and, you got to give Matthew's father, Keith, credit for calling this team out in Toronto radio, calling them soft. Paul Maurice has gone off on his team. But that's the thing. They're learning how to win in the playoffs now. They're just not satisfied getting there, and that's the big difference.
Very interesting there. Yeah, I mean, it's just, to me, I don't know. It's just insane, Nick, that we're talking about the 8 seeds here, completely beating a 1 seed, a 2 seed, technically with Carolina, I guess, in Boston. So it's just, it's amazing that's from the same area to me. And they're doing it just like they should.
Yeah, 2 8 seeds from the same city, beating the 1 seed, and now beating the 2 seeds.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, look, Florida's got that 2012 LA Kings feel to it. Like, the Kings weren't a true 8 seed in the sense. Like, everybody knew they were better than what they were. Like, even in 2014 when they got in, too. Like, everybody knew they were better than what they were. But they for some reason, it didn't go well for them in the regular season. And don't forget, Florida was the President's Trophy team last year. And they got knocked out in the second round, and I think they learned from it, and they made a hard trade to get rid of Jonathan Huberdeau and bring in Matthew Tkachuk, and he's been a difference maker for this team. And I pointed this out, on other places too. Tkachuk last year with the Flames, he wanted to be more of an agitator. He can score, no doubt, but he was getting too physical, kind of getting off his own game. Now you have a guy like Sam Bennett there. Now his offensive ability takes over. Bennett's the one doing all the agitating. So it's crazy that 2 8 seeds, and technically wasn't my buddy pointed this out to me. He's like, well, Miami started off as a 7th seed, but because of the playing round, they dropped to an 8 seed. So it's like, it's crazy the fact that what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, losing in the playing game, like usually that team's already would be out, and they doing what they're doing right now with it. So what about this Golden Knights Dallas series? Because it's interesting to me. The Golden Knights won in overtime. Put that up 2-0, but we saw the same thing, didn't we? A similar deal with Seattle in the Stars previous round. So I think Dallas, in a way, kind of has this feeling like, hey, we're not completely out of it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think either team's out of it. I mean, you lose a game in overtime, it's, the puck goes
close.
Either way. Yeah, you're close. I mean, Wyatt Johnson in Game 2 had a chance to win it within the first 30 seconds of overtime, and he doesn't score, and then Vegas goes down the other way and ends it. Look, Dallas defensively had some breakdowns in Game 2, and they played a boring hockey period in Game 3, and they tried to sit back on a 1-goal lead, and it almost worked. For 55 minutes, it almost worked. And Jack Eichel makes a great pass to Jonathan Marchessault, and the game's tied, and we go to overtime. The other game, Dallas, couple mistakes here and there lead to Vegas, and there it is. But they weren't out of it. And it's not like what Florida, right? Carolina outshot them in period 1 of Game 2, 20-8, and it was only 1-0. Dallas is right there. And Ottinger, he probably wants some goals back. They're not getting to Aiden Hill, but Aiden Hill's playing well. Vegas defensively is a really good team, and I think Vegas is right now. Florida's on that run that carries you to a Stanley Cup. Vegas, to me, is the best team, and it's a team that's flown under the radar the whole playoffs because in every series they've been in, experts and others have picked the other team besides Vegas. I personally liked Vegas in this series just because of their depth, what they had, who they had on their team, and I think they're the most complete team left in the playoffs besides Florida.
That's very true.
Jim, which team has a chance to come back from this down 2-0? Is it going to be the Canes or is it going to be the Stars?
I mean, if the Canes are going to come back, they're going to have to solve Sergei Bobrovsky, and right now they're trailing 1-0 after 2 periods of play. They definitely have to get more shots. I mean, they have 21 shots on goal, but Bobrovsky's playing on another level. I think Dallas has more of a chance to come back because, again, both games lost in overtime. You lose in Vegas. Vegas is a really good home team. Dallas is a really good home team. So, I mean, if they lose game 3, all right, now we're talking, all right. But I think Dallas has a chance to make it a series. But I'm still taking Vegas in the Western Conference Final.
You mentioned something on Twitter. I caught a brief of it. There's been like some marathon overtime games. Are people have a lot of backlash to that because we got rid of that during the regular season and we went to shootouts? Are people clamoring for shootouts in the playoffs, or how should we fix these long overtime games?
These marathon overtime games are so rare, right? Some hockey writer decided that he wanted to make a statement and put something on Twitter. By the way, it was deleted, so that's what he probably thought of that. But I mean, look, if you're gonna say it, then just keep it out there and defend it, and just don't delete it because you're getting crushed because everybody else in the hockey world is right. But they're so rare. Like the last one was 2020 in the bubble when Columbus and Tampa played 5 overtimes. Before that, you're going to the later 2000s. Yeah, there've been some triple overtime games, sure. But there's no reason to change with like what the IHF did in overtime where you're playing deciding a gold medal game 3-on-3. There's no need for that after triple overtime. Just play the game. And this is what makes the Stanley Cup playoffs unique. You can play into the early mornings or playing multiple overtimes. Like before the 4 overtime game, Michael Amadio scored double overtime. He scored 3 minutes into double overtime for the Vegas Golden Knights to beat the Jets in game 2. Other than that, most overtimes are over within the first 5 to 10 minutes. And they're going home. And lately it's been within the first minute and a half of a game, like the last couple overtime games. So it's not like we need to change anything. I know people on the East Coast, it stinks. Game starts at 8 o'clock. You're not going to bed till 2. Oh, well, that's the profession you chose. You're watching the game. Like, you're staying up. It's tough. No doubt. It's tough. But you know what? It's what makes the Stanley Cup playoffs unique. You love – there's stories you can tell. Oh, yeah, I stayed up to watch the Easter epic between Washington and the Islanders. You were there when – so-and-so went 5 overtimes. And this happened. You remember this guy scoring, Keith Primo, the marathon man. Like, you remember all these moments, like Peter Sikora in 2003 against Dallas. It 5 overtime game. Like, they're so rare and they're so far and few between, but the ones that do happen, they're memorable and people talk about them.
That's very true there. It's very true.
It's true. I still remember the Syracuse UConn like 7 overtime game in the Big East tournament.
Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
so much fun. Like every sport, does it drag on? Sure, but that 4 overtime game wasn't sloppy either. It was still good hockey. So and people watched it. So that's the difference too.
That's true. We got football talk, Bo, out here. Bo, appreciate you chiming in here. Got to be careful putting out bulletin board material on playoff teams. Hey, not with Jim here. I want what stuff he does.
I think he's referring to Toronto and Boston.
That's what it is.
Asking about, we want Florida and bring on Miami. Like, I think
about that.
about that. Yeah, how you feeling right now?
Cool. Well, hey, let's switch to some off-season going on in the play right now. There's some news out there. Let's start with the Calgary Flames here, naming Craig Conroy general manager, promoting after 9 years under Trevlin. What's this move like? What's it do for the Flames, and what are we going to see this upcoming year?
So it's a great move by Calgary. I think Craig Conroy was the leading candidate all along. They looked at other people, but I think keeping it within the organization, a guy who's been there, he's been with the Flames, he played for the Flames. I think that's something that they wanted to do. You're seeing a more trend of that, guys, former players coming back, being GMs. You see it with Colorado. Joe Sakic has done it, Steve Yzerman, and he's worked his way through it. He's not just being handed this without having experience. He has experience, and they're going to bring in Dave Nonis too, who was a general manager in the league as well. He's going to get help. Then they're going to bring in Jerome McGinley. And so, Ginlin wants to get in the fray, and they're going to rebuild the Flames because everybody was not happy with the result this year. And it's like when Hockey Canada doesn't do well in the tournament, they got to have this summit, and they got to change a lot of things. I think the Calgary Flames are in for a busy offseason. Obviously they need a new head coach. It's going to be interesting to see who they go after there. I doubt it's going to be a retread. I would not be surprised if it's the big name out there is Alex Tanguay. I would not be surprised if he's named the head coach of that team. I don't see Patrick Waugh just fitting into the model of what Calgary does. So, and then they're going to have to reshape that roster. Like, they need to figure out who they are. They want to get faster. They want to play a faster style of game. I think Tanguay fits that. And now you got to determine what you're going to do with your goaltending. Because Dustin Wolf is there and he's really good. And you have a $6 million guy in Jacob Markstrom who can't stop the puck. So you have to figure out what you're going to do there. But Calgary's definitely going to be active this offseason.
There's a lot going on there. And that could be part of the Maple Leafs push as well, because with the Maple Leafs losing Kyle Dubas, like we talked about last week, getting Craig promoted and signed is the huge key right now, because Maple Leafs could have gone after him as well.
Well, they need to find somebody now after they got rid of Kyle Dubas as the general manager. He wasn't sure if he wanted to do it, and that's what it was weird, because Friday was crazy because you get that 3 p.m. like they announced it like in the morning, but then you had to wait to 3 o'clock for a press conference, and it's like that 3 o'clock news dump on a Friday of a holiday weekend in Canada, and it's weird because you never get this information from that much information from teams outlining like what happened from August through now. And then there was definitely a power struggle. Guy wanted more money, but like any corporation, if you're in a contract negotiation, you want to renew your contract, you don't throw last minute details in, like in the very last minute when you think you have a deal in place. And I think Brendan wanted him back. I think the Leafs wanted him back. I just don't know if he wanted to be back. And I think maybe back in August when they said they were going to wait and weren't going to sure about renewing his contract, I think he started to get the wheels in motion potentially to get out of there. They wanted him back. But the fact that like he sent an email and then the agent, just everything seems fishy. And I think he wanted out. And I think once Pittsburgh came involved, because Fenway Sports owns that, he's buddies with the Red Sox, I think he wants to go down to Pittsburgh. And I think I would not be shocked if the Pittsburgh Penguins make the announcement that Kyle Dubas is the next general manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins, even though he said it was Toronto or bust. I think he was planning his exit route. I think he overplayed his hand. Shanahan called his bluff, and now he's out of a job. And now Toronto has to look and scramble to find a general manager because, they want an experienced guy. But the problem is they have a chain of command, and a lot of the older guard wants all control. So it's going to be interesting to watch. And could this be the final year there for Brendan Shanahan too? Because, 9 years, 1 playoff win, you've gone through 5 general managers, probably Sheldon Keefe's going. The accountability now has to turn to the president of hockey operations. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting year for Brendan Shanahan.
It will be to see exactly where they go from there. If they can even get back to the second round at least, right? And be more competitive.
Well, look, they have a lot to discuss because Austin Matthews' no trade contract clause, no movement clause kicks in July 1. They can't start negotiating until July 1 anyway. William Nylander, Mitch Marner's no movement clause kicks in as well. William Nylander's coming up soon. They have to re-sign, a bunch of players for their bottom 6. Not only they have to look at goaltending, they're going to have to move out Matt Murray somehow. Do you have now who out of Tavares, Nylander, Marner, Matthews gets moved? If Matthews is staying, how much is he getting? Because if he goes over a certain amount, you think probably Toronto's going to try to trade him. Does he pull a Steven Stamkos and wait till next year to sign and have another big year and get paid off of that? Look, Dubas he went all in at the deadline this year. He made some great hockey trades. The problem is he gave all those guys what they wanted, and it hurt the hockey club. And he wasn't steadfast on drawing a line and be like, no, you can't get this. You are paid at this level, and everybody's going to follow. Instead, everybody got what they wanted. He thought he was going to get what he wanted, and you saw what happens. Now they have to make the hard decision. because we saw what Tampa did. Ryan McDonough got traded. John Tavares can get traded. Look, I know he's the captain. I know he wants to play there, but $11 million is not a center, and you're paying the guy $11 million to play the wing. Team might pick it up. Who knows? I mean, but they have a lot of questions this offseason.
Yeah,
they really do.
Do you think so it looks like, Elliot Friedman reported out that the Penguins were very close before Dubas was let go of signing a new GM. Do you think that's a true statement there, or are we just saying, hey, like Dubas was the guy all along? They were just waiting for him to be let go.
I mean, they were pretty far along in their process before this news was announced last week. So they were close to definitely getting a general manager in place because they have to get a new general manager and president of hockey operations. So
okay, yeah, you're right.
So if they bring in Kyle Dubas, and there were reports beforehand that the Penguins wanted Dubas, but they finally got permission to speak to him. So I like I said before, I would not be shocked by the end of this week if the Pittsburgh Penguins do not make an announcement that he is the next general manager.
Gotcha. So Nick and I last week, I believe it was last week, we were discussing after you left, like, hey, we got to pick a team next year, right? Like Nick's got to pick a team. I got to pick a team to even follow it even closer to the NHL and the Stanley Cup playoffs as they come around. Now, here's an interesting take here. The Coyotes, right? The Coyotes just lost out on, was it Tempe?
Yes.
They're not going to build a new stadium. Yeah.
Correct. They rejected it. They got a great stadium there in right inside Phoenix there, I think. I was right next to it. I walked right by it. I was out partying and drinking next to it. It looked great on that. My brother's been many times, but, they're just not wanting to give it up. Now, it's confirmed no factual basis, but it sounds like a rogue insider social media person said there were reported complaints to the NHLPA for the Coyotes as well. Now we're getting even deeper inside the clubhouse, the ownership, the general management, and the players, if this is the case. Now, they said no factual basis is what they came up with. But if there's anything remotely close to that, you got to think that, Mahomes out here tweeting, Kansas City Coyotes isn't that far away, right? Like, we're talking over here, like Whataburger's here. He's part owner of the Royals, and they're getting a downtown stadium. He's, Super Bowl, of course. And he has a women's soccer team with Brittany, the KC Current. Like, you gotta think this, either the NBA or the NHL is going to be calling Mahomes' name saying, hey, let's talk.
Look, I mean, to me,
Kansas City Coyotes.
Yeah, that's what Patrick Mahomes said.
I mean, look, to me, if Ryan Reynolds is not a part of the National Hockey League, or Snoop Dogg, then I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be. It's really an old boys club, to be honest. And look, it's a great idea. Kansas City has a ready-made stadium. They've had preseason hockey games there before. Houston has a ready-made arena. That's if the owner wants to pay rent to the Houston Rockets owner, which I think is a more viable option. But hey, see what
they could play. The Coyotes could play at the T-Mobile Center, right? Like they could play there.
Yeah. They could play
right across the street from Power and Lighting. That's a perfect spot.
Yeah, they could play there. They could play there.
That's what Mahomes' tweet said. It said Kansas Coyotes. It was like T-Mobile Center, and then he tagged T-Mobile Center in the NHL in the Coyotes into it. So,
look, to me, I think Tempe. The problem was with Tempe is you needed to get 3 referendums passed. It was an arena plus the entertainment plus all the stuff. If they got the arena done first, I think that gets passed. But again, it's an older folks community and older folks, taxpayers' dollars. Then they're not going to give it up. We like to
call that old whites, is what we like to call that. So,
yeah. Look, I'm just going to say that I don't think it was ever going to get passed. Look, there's options to move in with the Suns. They can do that. They've heard they may try to renovate the old America West Arena, where's whatever it's called now, where they played originally. It had a bad sight line. They could fix that up. They could go to Modesto, looking at the mall, doing that thing. The fact of the matter that relocation is now an option for the National Hockey League for how many years people have been clamoring for it, for how many years Gary Bettman and the NHL has tried to keep this team in here. They are finally admitting that there's been some failure, and they are going to have to – there's a year left for this team to play where they are now before they make a decision if they relocate. And they're going to be looking at options as of right now. They are looking at options. Look, the Coyotes have a year to play in Arizona State, and then they're leaving. Wherever they're going because unless the new deal keeps them in Arizona, they're going to Houston. They could go to Kansas City. They could go to Salt Lake. The governor of Connecticut is talking about bringing the Coyotes east temporarily.
Milwaukee? I heard Milwaukee in the mix.
There's a lot of arenas.
That's a good question. How come Wisconsin doesn't have a hockey team?
No, they have the Milwaukee Admirals. They have an AHL team.
I'm talking about NHL, Jim. Like, how come they don't got a hockey team?
I think they did way back in the day. Like, way back in the day. Well, Cleveland did. I know that. Cleveland Barons were a team, and the Houston Aeros played. And look, I think Houston's the most likely destination just because it's Texas. It's a large TV market. They want the market there. And it's just never worked in Arizona, even during the Roenick years.
If I'm NHL, though, why would I want to go to Texas? I don't view Texas as a hockey state. Wouldn't you want to go to a place like Wisconsin, Connecticut, like, even Kansas?
People that are going to buy tickets.
Yeah, but they said that about the Dallas Stars, and the Dallas Stars won a Stanley Cup, and they've been a very consistent hockey club. Yes, they may not make the pages all the time in the sports section, and maybe the fourth sport in Texas, but people will come.
It might be the fifth sport besides after high school football.
Yeah, but you know what? The Dallas Stars are doing well, and Houston is, Texas. There's a lot of good hockey players from Texas, and I know it's a football state, but you know what? It may be a novelty, but if the team is going to win and they have good pieces, Houston could be a good option. It's just it's an option that's on the table, and I think it's one of the leading candidates. I would prefer that over Atlanta because I think Atlanta's showed us that they can't hold a hockey team anymore, 0-2. So I would take Houston or Kansas City, in my opinion, over any of the other options, just because I like it. And just where it's located and the rivalries that could be happening. And look, there's a major impact too, because now that the vote happened, Logan Cooley, who's their number one draft pick last year, is staying in college for another year to play in Minnesota. Like, that's a huge ramification because he was most likely playing this year for the Coyotes, and now he's not.
Wow.
Do they still own the rights to him then?
They still own the right. Yeah. So they still own the rights to him because he hasn't signed his ELC. But if this thing drags on and there's no permanent solution, that doesn't mean they won't lose his rights because we've seen it before.
Wow. That's going to be interesting.
So there are ramifications for not getting an arena deal in place.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Wow.
I actually did not know that. It was kind of like that. And you
would yeah. Out. Yeah, I mean, look, there's been guys like Kerfoot didn't sign in New Jersey. He ended up signing in Colorado because he didn't want to play there. Butcher was drafted by Colorado but signed in New Jersey because he didn't want to be there. VC started. Like, guys have done it. They've just played out their college years and let their draft rights play out, and then they become unrestricted free agents.
Gotcha. All right, so before we get to the comments here, because we got some comments around in our trailer we're going to drop here. Jim, do we have any big news? We got anything else we got to look for?
So New Jersey's definitely in the market for a goaltender. Been talking with some people, exploratory talks about Connor Hellebuck from Winnipeg. New Jersey is definitely exploring the options to upgrade their goaltending. I would not be surprised if let's just say Jesper Bratt's name is also involved in these trade talks because of the contract that he may or may not want. He's looking around Jack Hughes money. I don't think the team wants to sign him for that. They want him to get in around $6.57 million. And, that's where they believe that he should be paid. That's the framework of the deal. And Tom Fitzgerald has said that, hey, even though we don't have a first round pick, doesn't mean we can't get one. So, and that was implying about Jesper Bratt because, look, if he gets offer sheeted, which a team may do, the Devils are going to get a first round pick for him. So, hey.
Oh, okay. Something to watch for then.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. All right, let's get some of these comments here real quick here. We got Tufel here. Vellers. What's up, Tufel?
Yo, Fellator, baby.
He says, bring back the Whalers.
Oh man, dude, the Whalers back in Hartford, man, Brass Bonanza, it was great. I mean, I know they played in a mall, but still.
Scott says, will Hartford ever get a franchise again?
Man, I think they might be on the low end of things like with Quebec City. As much as everybody wants the Hartford franchise to come back in the NHL, I mean, it'd be great just because the geographics. Because you have Hartford, because that's when Hartford came in. You know, you had the Boston, you know, the New England Whalers. They were rivals with Boston. You had Montreal, Buffalo. Like that region is so good for hockey. It would be great, but I don't see it right now.
Okay, no, that's fair. All right, and Scott here, as we get closer to the trailer here before Jim Jets here, Scott says, hey guys, want to thank you for all the laughs. Enjoy the show. Has given my Monday nights. It's been awesome to be on it and to fill in when needed. You two, along with Jim and Jonathan, are the best around. Appreciate you, Scott.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Scott.
For what's
Thanks,
coming
Scott,
up,
man.
All right, let's do this trailer here, then we'll get Jim out of here.
All right, here we go, boys. Hopefully it works.
Hang on.
Yeah, I got it loaded up. Can you see it, Tanner?
I can't see it.
There it goes.
Do you see it?
Oh, it says it's on the stream. It says remove. I don't want to
Jim,
remove.
do you see it?
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
I don't see anything.
This is
All
great. This is great entertainment right
This
now.
is
though.
not how
Exactly.
well it went yesterday.
Yes, last night. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if it'll let me.
Hold on.
Yesterday I had to save the day, so I'm trying to save the day again. No, it's not letting me share today.
Ah, shoot. Look, I got a better. I hear it.
Wait. Don't touch it, Nick.
All right. It says it's on the stream.
It is. Hang on.
Uh-oh. Is it playing?
It ain't playing on mine.
It says it's loading. Hold on. I can do this something else real quick.
Okay.
I might have to.
I don't know why it won't let me share today. It's it's definitely being finicky. StreamYard is. Hang on. Hang on. Sorry, Jim. Give me a minute.
There you go.
Oh boy.
Weird. Hang on. Take it down. Take it down.
All right.
Take it down.
All right.
Let me take care of this real quick here. Oh, where you at there?
Panthers still lead 1-0. Everybody. If you got any more hockey questions, yeah, still 1-0. Start of the third period. Pressuring Carolina pressuring as they've been doing for most of the game since being down 1-0. If anybody's got any comments, any more questions, send them my way right now.
Okay.
In the NBA world, LeBron had 31 at the half, and the Lakers are up 73-58 at the half.
Oh wow! All right, I don't know if you're going to hear the music, but we're gonna play it here for you. At least you can see everything. Next time, I'll make sure I get the file down to less than about a minute. June 5th, everybody. That is the date to watch for. That is a week from next Monday of Memorial Day. We got a lot to talk about here for a minute here. We are going to be on Monday nights, guys. It'll still be the same Jim Behringer and Jonathan Grishman shows that we always go about. There's going to be a couple more people going around, a different kind of format as well, from 8 Central, 9 Eastern to 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern. You will find us with a couple guests on Mondays and Thursday nights, and then on Sunday morning. So there's going to be a lot of blasts. We're going to have a lot of fun there. Lots of cool guests. Lots of things to talk about as well. We'll have some graphics. We'll have a whole bunch of stuff going on. So really excited to do this here. This starts June 5th, a week from next Monday, 2 weeks from today. So super excited for it. The Let's Talk Sports show is going to be official here very shortly. So we're not going
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm excited. More people that can learn from me.
Yes.
So that's even better. Johnny Cruz, he's a man. Scott, awesome. Mr. First Down. I met him a couple weeks ago. Cool dude. Look,
That's right.
All these guys, this community is growing, and guess what? It's going to just be the same fun and awesomeness that is.
That's
us.
Right, buddy. That's right.
Amen to that.
5-second pose, baby.
Jim, we shouted you out on my show last night. Me and Tanner, because we've been doing this show almost exactly a year.
That's crazy,
a little less than a year. And I said, man, I've learned more in the last year about hockey than I ever have in the last 35 years previous of my life. So
right there with them.
Shout out to you, my man. So appreciate it.
If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be talking like every week with you.
No, it's true. It's true. I mean, that was cool. Yeah, the great shout out. You have Dan set everything up pretty much. We hooked all up and we came on. It's been a staple since. And you know what? I'm just glad to be here on Monday nights.
That's right.
Man, we appreciate it. Jim, before you get out of here, MJF keeping the strap at AEW Revolution, or what do you think?
Whoa. First of all, it's not Revolution that passed.
Oh, yeah.
It's Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing, you're right.
And he's keeping the strap.
All right.
He's keeping the strap at Double or Nothing. Sunday pay-per-view. Check it out. It's going to be good. I'm a fan of it. I can't wait. And we're going to see where it goes. But
favorite match you're looking forward to?
You know what? I want to say the Four Pillars match. Yeah, the World Championship. Yeah, the title match. I actually want to see who the opponents are for Orange Cassidy's title too, but that'll be good. What was that last comment? Wait a minute. I was
going to pull it up after you talked. Tufel said he really appreciates the NHL coverage, especially with someone as knowledgeable and passionate as you. So
I appreciate that. Thank you. No, thanks. This has been a while. This has been a fun ride. Can't wait to continue it. Blessed, honored. Like I said to you guys off air, it's the best way to finish the week. So finish the Monday, actually, I should say, and start the week. Best way to finish a Monday, start the week with you guys, and I can't wait to be back here June 5th.
Hey,
we'll see you then, Jim. Appreciate it, brother.
Join us, man. Hey, enjoy your night. Have a good week. Have a good holiday weekend, and we'll catch you June 5th.
Absolutely, and maybe by that time we talk Stanley Cup final.
I think we might be.
Talking Stanley Cup final. So,
right, man.
Guys, enjoy and have a great rest of your night, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
See you, Jim.
See you, Jim.
Peace out, guys.
Jim Behringer, everybody, at Jim Behringer on Twitter. If you want to catch him, he drops all of his stats out there, all of the recaps. He gives you all the news you need to know of that day, of these matches. So at Jim Behringer, go follow him on Twitter. Great guy, great way, and he does some great shows. So
Nuggets pulled it in within one with 6 minutes to go in the third, 78-79.
You know what? I wonder. So Scott out here real quick here says Tanner couldn't get the 70 music checks on there. Nah, dude, I couldn't get the 70 music checks. It didn't work out the way things for College Sportcast. Hey, appreciate you hopping on. Is this thing on? Yeah, we have a little issues uploading our files. So all you got to see was video, but I got to hear the music on that. But it was funny. With Scott, we talked betting a lot too. And it's I threw down plus 220 on Denver after the first quarter when Lakers were up big. I only threw out like $10, but I mean, I still win like 30 or something like that. So we'll see what happens here if they can pull it out. I also had them at plus 3.5 before the game as well. So I think Denver is still the more complete team. I don't think it's any fault to LeBron, any fault to AD. You just ran into a freaking powerhouse of a freaking roster.
They're just deeper and better. I mean, Jokic right now might be the best player in the NBA.
You ran into a brick wall, essentially, is what it is.
I think LeBron, me and Kenny was talking about this earlier too. Is like you just see like LeBron is not being quite that leader in the huddle. I think he's defeated. I think he looks at that team and knows he's been around 20 years. You know what I mean? In this game, 20 years. He knows when a team is just going to be better than him.
Yeah. And I think it was like what KD said, right? Well, KD said at the press conference against Denver. And when they asked him about Joker, and he's like, guy's a freaking animal. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah. They're just the better team. Like,
yeah. You just run into a brick wall like that, like I said, no fault to LeBron. He's been through these kind of ways too, these matches, Golden State, that one year where what's his phrase? The guy that ended up getting the rebound and dribbled off instead of just putting it up for the
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith. Like you could see the defeat in him that time too, because it was like they had to go to overtime, and he's just like, come on, man. Like
we had a chance,
got to be here, right? And it's not even that this time. It's legit. You just ran into a brick wall of a team right now that is playing out of their minds and healthy too.
Jokic looks like he's the best player on the planet right now.
He does.
I mean, he does, and it's so great because he does things that you're just like, he does things back to the basket. He can hit the three, and then he can you try to double him. I don't know how you defend him, because if you double him, he's such a great passer. He can find his guys wide open, and then they're just guys like KCP, Caldwell Pope is just wide open for threes, and they're drilling them. Jamal Murray has been absolutely fantastic. He's been the perfect, kind of the Robin. Sometimes he's even the Batman. You look at Game 3 and at the end of Game 2, like Jamal Murray was cooking. This Nuggets team, I want the Heat to win it all, but you just look at that. If at that Nuggets and Heat, which it looks like it's gonna be, I mean, I just don't see a path for the Heat to win.
Well, we didn't see a path for the Heat to win from round one.
You're right. We didn't see a path from week. I had them beating the Knicks. I didn't have them beating the Bucks in the round one, and I didn't have them beating the Celtics this round.
Not like this.
The Celtics, they quit. They absolutely quit. Sorry, Scott, but they absolutely quit.
He knows it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because this team has been together now that it's their third head coach.
We get the A-track to sync up. That's great.
This is their third coach. They had Brad Stevens, and they had Aduke, and now this what's his name, Manzola. Should they blow that team up? It's been the same core. It's been Marcus Smart. It's been Jason Tatum. It's been Jaylen Brown. Like they've added a little piece here or there, but for the most essential pieces, like that team's been together.
Yeah, but they thought they had to
get over their own hump.
I think if you had Udoka or whatever, in this place here, I don't think you're going to be down what you're down right now. I don't think you're going to get the give up as it is. We all talked about the season. A lot of people talked about like, oh yeah, well, we replaced that coach already, right? This coach is just as great as our suspended coach and everything
Clearly
like that.
Not.
Well, you're in the playoffs, and we've seen the struggles they've had with the Celtics have struggled all playoff long, and that's not necessarily a Tatum issue. It is a little bit of a Tatum, but it's not necessarily a Tatum issue. It's not necessarily a Brown issue. It's not a player's issue. It's really a leadership issue, and it starts with the head coach of Missoula. Yeah, sure, he's done a great job for what he's got, but he also added on Brogdon. He added on Derek White. He's got a healthy round there. Al Horford's a great leader there. Robert Williams has played great. Like I don't think you see the same results you're seeing now with Udoka. I don't like putting him back in.
Here's my question: who's leading this team? Like
that, right? That's what I'm saying.
Who's the leader? We know who on the other side of the other side of the court, the other team. We know who their leader is. You look in the Western Conference, we know who the Nuggets leader is. We know who the Lakers leader is. Who's leading the Celtics? Who's their leader? Like who's grabbing them and saying, "Hey, we ain't going down like this. Like we're not quitters." You think if the shoe was on the other foot, you think Jimmy is letting the Heat get blown out like that and quitting on their coach? Absolutely not. Absolutely.
We saw that too with Jimmy in the 76ers organization. We saw that Jimmy's leadership like that with Minnesota, who hated him. Absolutely. The players just did not like his work ethic because it was too much. It was too much for them, and they did not like it. He's in the Heat, and we saw that there. There's only one guy on the roster right now, I believe, that is speaking up, and it's the vet Al Horford. But he's not that big of a voice anymore. It's not that big of a voice like he
can't do it physically anymore either.
Yeah, he's not Tatum's ability right now. He's not that young and talented anymore. But he is a vet presence, and I guarantee you right now, Horford is the one, trying to rally, get everybody put the leadership in. But there's also a difference of Horford and Tatum doing it, Horford and Brown doing it to this team here. So it's all in leadership. It goes to the coach, and it goes to Tatum, and it goes to Brown, all on this once the series is lost. So,
before we came on air, I was watching a little bit of the pregame, and Woj was saying on ESPN that pretty much like this team did not want Udoka fired. They didn't want him. They wanted Udoka to come back, and they didn't want Mazzulla there. Or not that they didn't want him there. They just didn't. They felt like it wasn't that big a deal. Like it was the HR situation. You suspend him for a little bit, and then you bring him back.
It wasn't a fireable offense. Let's just say that. I don't think so. At least from what I heard, sounded like it was all mutual in a way too. It was just more of a interchange of within the organization.
Yeah.
But, the players don't want to lose him. Well, if you're telling me right now that, Tatum and Brown and Robert Williams is like, oh yeah, well, we're just as great as with Mazzulla. There's a difference there. There's a little bit of a difference of the leadership styles there, and speaking of which, he went to Houston, and there's this guy out here, Jaylen Brown that kind of wants to possibly leave Boston due to some, racist stuff that's going on there. And so why wouldn't he go to Houston? Rejoin his coach.
Speaking of Houston, it's reported that James Harden wants to go back. Some of their players don't want James Harden. And I've seen a thing where James Harden, they think James Harden can get 4 years, $200 million. There's no way if I'm a GM, if James Harden says I want 4 years, $200 million, that I'm signing him.
After that last game we saw, no, not a chance. No chance. Like, sure, if you would have stopped at that 30-point game 2 or whatever it was, and then, that was your final game and you want, sure, I might think about it. But after that last game's performance, I ain't giving you that. I wouldn't
have given him that and before at all. Like he's never done anything.
Brad Stevens is trying to angle his way back into the coaching job. Next,
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Brad Stevens had his fair share with the coaching stint with the Celtics. I think he's done. I think he's enjoying the management side of things, and now he's looking at a new challenge of, hey, I might have to rebuild a roster again this offseason, like he did last year with White and Brogdon coming into play too. On that, we got Kale. Kale, what's up, man? Last show, what's this nonsense about, sirs? Look, we got it.
Well, we got a new show, Kale. We can't play the video because it all jacked up and it takes too long.
Yeah,
but new show. Yeah, new bigger show coming June 5th.
June 5th. Same 8 p.m. 30 minutes earlier. 30 minutes earlier. That's all you got to know. Show up 30 minutes earlier. We have a big time coming into play. It's going to be a blast. Same guest, Jim and Jonathan, on Monday nights. We'll be also live Thursday with that same show with different guests, and Sunday mornings, guys. So if you want to watch the trailer, go to Let's Talk Sports YouTube channel. It's on there for you guys to watch. So make sure you guys go check it out because it's going to be awesome.
New show, new, just bigger show, revamped. With all things, we're at the 1 year mark. So you have to assess and then keep growing. So that's exactly what we're doing around here at LTS, baby.
That's right. It's just a year too. It's crazy to think that we've been here a year, but we're improving. Look at this. We got a new layout. I got a new intro, and now we're about to get really going. And I'll play as I'm getting a little better about this whole creation deal. What do you say? Harden chokes constantly in the playoffs. I wouldn't pay him a red cent. I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't either. I agree.
He's improving it.
What has he done for you lately? You know what I mean? Like, this is a win now league, and if Harden is your number one guy, you're not going to win. You're not going to go very far.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not going to go very far.
Would you rather have Russell Westbrook or James Harden?
I'm very excited. Who?
Russell Westbrook or James Harden?
Probably James Harden.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me Russ. I would take Russ. Russ gives you everything he has.
He gives you everything you have, but
everything he has every night.
It also shows that James Harden can lead you further than Russell Westbrook.
Russ has got to the Western Conference Finals
with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but I mean, I would take Westbrook is a playmaker. He can. Didn't
Harden get to the Western Conference Finals with injured Chris Paul?
Paul, yeah.
Injured bum Chris Paul. Yeah. I would still probably take Harden right now, but I like if I'm a fan and I'm not worried about like going to the playoffs or championship, I'm taking Westbrook all day. He's one of my favorites to watch.
As a coach, I want Russell Westbrook. I don't want no parts of James Harden at all.
That's true. You don't want that drama because all it takes is one little thing to go sour and it's over. It's over for you.
Russ never, for all the time in LA, he never complained, never sat out, never got fat and overweight, he showed up to play every day and played his butt off every day. We can't say that about James Harden. Look what he did at the end of Houston. Look what he did in Brooklyn.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, that's all it takes. Is one little thing to go wrong for him, and it's over. And then you're not going to get the same thing. All right, are we ready? Are we ready for this?
I think we're ready.
I think we're ready for this. Guys, let's bring them in. One last time to the Buffoon and Botkins. Again, we're not going anywhere. We're just renaming. It's redoing some stuff.
Revamp.
Last time. Jonathan doesn't know about this either. One last time with the Buffoon and Botkins, Mr. Jonathan Grishman. Jonathan, what's up, dude?
Man, y'all dropping some bombs on me right now? I didn't even know that.
Bombs on a lot of people.
Man, like I'm got me off guard right now. I'm part of history at the moment. Last Buffoon and Botkins show.
Last ever. We are revamping, just like, when dynasties happen, Jonathan, like the Braves in the 90s and the Yankees. Sometimes you got to, reassess how can we get better and bigger and continue the success. So we looked around and we pointed out some prospects out there. We surveyed the land. We did some scouting on who we could bring in, who would be a good fit for us. What can we do to make our team bigger and better? And that's what we did. So, now we're ready to go. Like, we won the first chip, and now we're looking around saying, hey, we got to keep this thing going, baby. We got to get bigger and better because, competition's breathing down our neck. So we surveyed the land. We did some good scouting, and we're ready to go bigger and better coming up.
June 5th.
Man, you got me fired up now, man. Let's get it. Love it.
Jonathan, you're not going anywhere. You're still here on Monday nights with us. You will still be with us here. There are just going to be a few more people added on and a little different shape of templates here going on. So it's going to be fun though.
You got me excited. I'm looking forward to it now.
It's going to be fun. Now, no show next week, right? So we're getting ready for the June 5th premiere show that we're gonna have a blast with. So just FYI all there. So it's gonna be fun, John. I promise, John. It'll be good.
I'm all in. Let's go.
We promise we're still talking baseball with you every Monday.
That's right. It's still, don't worry. And we'll talk about Derek Carr during the season.
Yeah, we'll still talk to your
Your
crappy Saints and hopefully your cheating ass LSU Tigers and women's basketball, and if they can turn it around, and if Kelly can do crazy things in the SEC country, and down there in the Bayou and all that stuff. It's fake ass Chip Kelly's accent and everything else.
You said Chip Kelly?
Whatever his name is. Is that his name? No, that's not his name.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly. Who's Chip Kelly?
He was the old Oregon coach.
That's right. Yeah, Brian Kelly, Chip Kelly. They both got fake ass accents trying to recruit kids.
And look, hey, you're going to drink the Kool-Aid, but the Kool-Aid's going to be some swamp water. I'm going to send you some swamp water. When I go down to Louisiana for a tournament here in about a month, I'm going to send you some swamp water that you can kind of cool down a little bit. All right, you go to chill. You gotta get the southern chill in right now. If it's supposed to be happy times right now, you're trying to drown us right now. Nah, hey, get you some swamp water. I'm gonna send you some swamp water from Lafayette. All right, cool out, enjoy, and just smile. Enjoy the good times down south, baby.
That's what I like to hear. All right, let's talk before we get into baseball here. Jonathan, how was the weekend, dude?
Weekend was good. I'm exhausted actually right now. We had our 14U team competed, and they finished third place over the weekend out of 16 teams. So they had a long day, and I had to go watch them, help them, and then go coach my 16, 18U scrimmage. And then went back and watched them play. We long day on Sunday from 9 in the morning. Didn't leave the ballpark till 11:30 at night. Long day. And it was some good games, some very good games on both sides of the teams that for us and the teams that we played against. Had a walk-off home run, actually, that got us to the semis as well. So, 4-2 ball game, 4-1, scored on a single, made it 4-2, runners on second and third, a pass ball ended up happening, got the runners over to second and third, and my girl was just sitting on a fastball and was able to put it over center field fence for a walk-off. So
center field too.
Center dead ready. Hey, she knew it too. Like the video I posted, I put it on Twitter and Facebook. You can see a little stuff. And I'll give you this one here, Nick. She got a little Sammy Sosa hop to it when that's what I'm talking about. She knew it too. So it was a lot of fun this weekend. It was and we had some bad weather, kind of threw schedules out a little bit for my younger teams. The Texas weather sucks. And then we've been dealing with rain just about every week, and now it's about to be 100 degrees here starting in next week. So it's just what it is. But we got to still play. The boys had some good games this weekend. They played well. But the girls in the 14U, they showed out this weekend. 5-2 on the weekend with seven total games they played on Saturday and Sunday, and they were just out. They were tired. That's a long day getting done at playing at 10 o'clock and leaving the ballpark at 11:30. Yeah, that was rough. So, but very proud. Good. As I said, good ball games. It was just fun. It was fun to watch.
I saw you had a kid first 50 kid who get 50 strikeouts in the academy.
Yeah, on our baseball team. Our baseball team is not been around as long as the softball side. We've had teams here and there, but we had a kid. He reached our 50 strikeout club. He's my first one on the baseball side. I've had that. We had quite a few on the girls' side, just because again it's been almost 5 years. June 1st is our birth year for Alpha. It would be our anniversary of when I started it. So we're approaching to start our 5th year here soon. But we had a very big accomplishment to be able to have our first 50 strikeout pitcher. That happened this weekend on Sunday. He was able to achieve it with striking out the side 1, 2, 3, and was able to hit it on that. So. It was really good. Very, very proud of it as well. I've been working with him for the last few months on his pitching, and he's come a long way in just a few months. I've been able to kind of do some work. So, very, very happy and very proud of that opportunity. I know there's more coming right behind him.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear.
Awesome.
I love it. I love hearing that stuff.
Oh yeah.
We got Kale out here. He's asking. Speaking of Jonathan, you got one in the College World Series. Are you really going to ask him this, Kale? I don't know why you're asking him. But hey, Jonathan, I'll let you answer.
Who do I want? I'm born and raised as an LSU fan, and they've been the better team throughout the country, throughout the season. I'm nervous about LSU now, though, because of the bullpen has been taking a lot of hits. We've had 3 guys this year in the LSU's bullpen that's down with Tommy John, which is that's tough. And so Offensively, they are the best team in the country, and with guys like Dylan Cruz, going to be the #1 pick in this year's draft. Tommy White, he'll be a top 5 pick next year's draft. He's a sophomore right now, power hitter. You've got a lot of guys. Trey Morgan's going to be probably a top 5 round pick this year, probably a top 3 round pick. Jordan Thompson's going to get drafted probably this year as well. So there's a lot of talent on the offensive side on the lineup card. Pitcher, you have the best pitcher in the country, Paul Skeens, but he can't pitch every day. So the depth of the pitching staff for LSU has me very nervous going into SEC tournament and when the NCAA tournament starts up right after that. So who do I want? LSU, go Tigers. But I'm very nervous now. If you would have asked me this a month ago, I would 100% confident they were going to run. They would run the table. I'm nervous now just because of our pitching depth has really taken a huge hit over the last few weeks.
Here we go. Here's your rifle right here. Gale Cards. It's WPS, baby. LSU who? It's an absolute joke that Wake is #1. They have a light schedule. That is kind of surprising, though, that you have a Wake Forest at 1 there in Florida 2. You would think Florida would be 2 at least, along with Arkansas, then LSU over Stanford and Wake Forest. But it's College World Series. You never know what the seasons are really going to be in the end.
It is, and look, hats off to Wake. They're a really good team, and their strength of schedule's probably been rough. It's not as talent laden as the SEC schools and what they play every year. But that doesn't don't take anything away from Wake Forest. That is a good ball team. And they've done what they're supposed to do, and they go win ball games left and right as they have. That's talent is there. They're a dangerous team. They're going to be a very dangerous team in the ACC tournament as well as the NCAA tournament. They're sneaky. That's the one thing about it. You would have thought Wake Forest, and they've had moments of being a good teams in the past. They put it together this year, and they had adding some transfer portal. They hit the transfer portal hard this off season to have the players that they've been able to get. So they're a sneaky team, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them make a run in the NCAA tournament.
Kayla's an interesting one here. Florida, Arkansas, LSU, top 3 interchangeable. Wake is well put together and a well-coached team, but I don't think they have the depth. That's going to be interesting because this is one of the bright spots for me in college baseball is this big tournament, College World Series stuff going in. And this is where I like it because it's where all the drama happens. All the drama. You have drama through the season, but the main drama that I'm loving this is going to be right here because you got the Coastal Carolinas, you got the West Virginias that aren't usually in this. Even Kentucky made it this year. What? 25th, dead last.
Kentucky, they're a very small ball team. They weren't able to really. They're going to be a team that's going to struggle when they face an offensive team. Again, using LSU as an example, Arkansas was a good team as well. That scored a lot of runs. You put a team that makes Kentucky have to outslug. They can't do it. They play small ball, a lot of stolen bases, runs, moving runners over. But when you try to you make them have to outslug you, they can't, and that's going to be the thing with the NCAA tournament. And I love so much is you do have a cross of teams that are in the regionals that with you, and you have to really strategize because you don't know these teams, you don't know who they are. You don't
know Campbell, you don't know Dallas, East Carolina,
Yeah, so it's the matchups of it is really intriguing. It's really fun to watch and see. And again, I go back 2 years ago. You said Coastal Carolina. And they upset LSU in Alex Box Stadium. That's something that doesn't happen very often. And a small school like Coastal Carolina goes in there and does it. That's exciting. And again, as much as it hurts my heart, but it's for my college baseball fandom, I love it because that's what it's supposed to be about. You have those teams have that opportunity. Stony Brook, years ago in 2012, I remember that. Because I was actually playing ball in New Jersey, summer ball in New Jersey in college, and Stony Brook upsets LSU in Alex Box as well at that time. And again, who's ever heard of Stony Brook University? Well, you know them and know after that when they beat LSU. So that's the beautiful part about the NCAA tournament, especially in baseball. Again, you're starting to see that more in the college basketball side, where these small schools are starting to they're catching up. Mm-hmm. Baseball's been doing that. It's been doing that for a long time, where you have small schools, like you said, Campbell, jumping in. Dallas Baptist, they changed. NCAA it's living probably within 25, 30 minutes of Dallas Baptist, and how NCAA's kind of screwed them at times of hosting super regionals, and they win their regional, and they go, oh hey, your stadium doesn't hold enough people for us to do a super regional, so you're gonna have to go to Oregon, or you're gonna have to go to Washington and play, or Stanford at times. They did Stanford at one point, but DBU's been a good team. That's a very good program. Campbell, proven really, really good program. Coastal Carolina, really good program, sticking around. Programs that are so small, they're sticking around and doing it. That's the thing about it. NCAA basketball, college basketball, those small programs don't stick around. They're 1 year, and we don't really see them as much, make a run. Baseball is not that way. If you have a good program, you'll find talent, and you can make runs in the NCAA tournament almost every year.
That's right. And then Kale finally has Oklahoma State going to be tough again. Georgia's on a hot streak too. The Raging Cajuns are stacked again. It's his favorite time of year, fellas. So, hey, it's a fun time of year there.
It is.
Going on.
It is. I don't think Georgia's going to beat South Carolina in the SEC tournament, though. I just don't think they don't have the pitching. Ooh. They don't have the pitching to match. South Carolina is they got a lot of talent on that team. They just underperformed this year, and to the standard of what South Carolina baseball has done over the years. Mm-hmm. They have not. They fell off a little bit, and they had a tough schedule. That's not about it. Tough schedule, and what the SEC baseball. We talk about SEC football and what the schedule is within conference schedule. SEC baseball is worse. You had 8 or 9 teams at one point in the top 25. I mean, that's tough. That's hard, and you're facing these guys every week in a 3-game series.
Right. Yeah. All right. Let's switch it around. Some Major League Baseball news here.
Hey.
All right.
Oh, I got a question here. It's as we're talking Major League Baseball. The Orioles for real, Jonathan. They got the second best record in all of baseball. 7-3 in their last 10. Winners of the last 3 in a row. Are we taking these birds for real?
Should, yeah. You should. I put the top 4 teams in the AL East. They're going to be back and forth, jockeying, first place, fourth place, last place, third place. You're going to see this. It's a roller coaster. They're going to be all year. So they have to be for real. Blue Jays have to be for real. Yankees have to be for real. Rays have to be for real, because if you catch a slide, the other teams, as good as that division is, you're going to run yourself out. Yeah, they're for real. This was a good team last year, and we said they overachieved last year. The expectations hey, they're going to put it together again. They're the year experienced, another year experience with it, with young talented players, with some veteran players mixed in, which is what you need to be a contender, and they're doing it right now. So yeah, they're for real. You have to put, like I said, the top 3, top 4 teams in the AL East. They have to be for real to be able to contend. I think 3 teams, 4 teams can realistically make the playoffs out of the AL East. I think the division winner and the 3 wild cards more likely can come out of that one division. So you're having to battle. You have to battle every week. But for the Orioles, they're good. They're a good team. They don't do anything great. They don't do anything spectacular, or anything. But they're put together very well. They're competing very well, and they're winning games. I mean, my God, it's fun in Baltimore right now to watch that team.
Is that the best? That's the best division in baseball. The AL East got to be right, top to bottom.
Gail says AL East is ridiculous right now.
Yeah, it has to be. Every team's above 500, and they're above 500 by a few games. Like every team is. So yeah, it's the best division. It's not even close.
What I know, you kind of said the Orioles don't do anything special, but is it outside of Adley Rutschman, who should we be watching or keeping our eye on? It's that's a guy we need to be careful about.
That's the interesting part is you can't really name a lot of guys on that team besides Rutschman and Cedric Mullins. Cedric Mullins, we know Cedric Mullins because he had a really good year a few years ago, and he was with the WBC with Team USA early in spring. But he kind of had a little bit of a trickle off last year. He wasn't what they expected him to be last year, and if he was, they probably made the postseason last year. But Mullins he's a former All-Star player. He's a really talented ball player, and I think he's a key piece. He's got to be the key piece to go with Rutschman to give him that star power, because that's what you need. You need more stars to really kind of get yourself going and really be able to elevate that team. Rutschman's doing it. Rutschman's for real. That kid is absolutely a stud behind the plate. He's got the respect of veterans. And if you're that young and this is your first full season in the big leagues, really, and you're that young and be able to do what you're doing with the respect of the veterans, hats off to you. That's amazing. So that's a huge. I mean, we saw what a kid who's a catcher come in and absolutely just elevate the franchise to another level. We saw that with Buster Posey with the Giants. And what
Joe Mauer to an extent a little bit.
Joe Mauer's another one. But Posey was a piece that when they added him and he got himself supplanted with the team and the veterans loved him. They went and won World Series titles, 3 times. That was a huge factor for that franchise. Joe Mauer, as you said, was the same thing. He elevated the franchise different. Hopefully Rushman has a career similar to Posey, where they built and they were able to compete for championships. Mauer, sadly, he handful of times that he was in the postseason just never gave him the opportunity to go and compete, and then they had a lot of down years. But that's a huge boost to your franchise. You have a stud catcher that is going to be supplanted, and it's only a matter of when do they want to try to lock him up long term. 10, 12 years down the road, he's going to be in Baltimore for that. If they do it right, that's a huge piece that you just locked in for your franchise. Throw in Cedric Mullins, who's he's a guy that you need to have. So again, Mullins has got to be the one that they need to help the Rushman out, be able to do what they need to compete with the Yankees and Blue Jays and Rays in that division.
Yeah, I was going to say Rushman's here stats right now: 170 at bats, 23 runs, 46 hits, 38 walks. Leads the team. It's just the most impressive stat. 30 strikeouts, right there. Leads the team in OBS with 400 there. The other guy that actually Scott just commented on too, Ryan Mountcastle, could be a superstar in the making. Santander as well. Looking at Ryan Mountcastle, I was just thinking him. 194 at bats, leads the team there. 29 runs, leads the team there. 10 home runs, leads the team there. Still, he has 48 strikeouts, 8 walks. Could be better. It could be more patient as well going in there. Still with 34 rubies, 31. This guy is still, I think, going to be a very important piece to this Orioles team at first base, and I think he also DHs at times. So, this is a guy I like a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, I got to watch them play when they played the Braves in Atlanta a few weeks ago. I mean, I was impressed. I was very impressed. Pitching is going to be. I think they need to add pitching though. They're going to need to add a couple pitchers, at least one starting pitcher, and maybe two, maybe an arm in the bullpen to really get themselves the opportunity in that division. But offensively, I mean, you said Mountcastle was impressive. Santander hit a few balls that were just monster shots against the Braves. They did a lot of things that you just sit there and go, like, that's really good. I said they're not an elite team, not yet, which is scary because they're not even scratching the surface of their full potential. So I think 2024. I know we're in 2023. We're still 2023, and they're competing right now. But can you imagine what this team, if they continue to develop these guys, and they maybe add a piece or two to this team to really get them there, what that could do for this team, where they're basically the next Tampa Bay Rays, for the next couple of years. I mean, that could be they could be the best team in baseball in a year or two down the road as they add pieces, and that's pretty scary because that division is so top heavy, and I say top heavy because but again, 1 through 5, all 5 teams above 500, and with the schedule change being what it is, where you're playing the division less, they're going to beat up on teams so much. Like, you may have the 5th place team in that division close to 90 wins.
Right now, that would be the Blue Jays. They're dead last.
The Blue Jays, yeah.
You'll see 1 week it'll be the Blue Jays right now, and then next week you might see the Yankees back in last place, and you might see the Red Sox back in last place. You might they're going to all jockey in that division for a long, all throughout the summer. I mean, I can only imagine what the record is for most changes, in the division altogether would be. You're going to see it does the last place team in June still be the first place team? When was the last time something happened in the division? Or even go to August or September where a last place team just jumps up into first place. I think you're going to see that with this division. And
we almost saw it last year too.
Yeah.
With that. Kale says Brandon Hyde's proven his worth there, and Gunnar Henderson's hitting the learning curve pretty hard. Leads the team with 49 strikeouts, batting 192 right now, 331 OBS. But 130 at bats, man, and you're sitting there 49 strikeouts, 26 walks, only 24 runs on yours. Like, you're not putting your team in great position. So yeah, I agree with that learning curve. Pretty hard right there.
Yeah, and that's tough. And for a young guy like him, that's a tough position to be in, especially as you see as your team is winning, your team is succeeding. You want to do something to help that team, help your team. And so he's learning. He's learning on the fly right now, and that's why he's there though. You're getting experience, you're getting the opportunity. How quickly does you get the grasp of it? That's what they're trying to figure out right now, is how quick can he make the adjustments. And that's the hard part when you go to the minors, to the big leagues. Everybody adjusts faster. Yes. How do you respond to that as well? How can you match? Nobody's expecting you to make an adjustment faster than the guys that you're competing with, but can you match them? That's what the young guys that struggle at times. They don't make the adjustments quick enough. They're trying to see how quickly can you make the adjustment to get yourself in the right direction right now.
Correct. Let's talk about this Astros team. 9-1. Got the big win against Milwaukee today.
Or not.
What?
I said or not.
Look, this Astros team has come alive here this last little bit here. They swept the Cubs, swept Oakland, possibly.
Shots at the Cubs.
What?
I said, why you got to take shots at the Cubs? We could have
I just had to make sure. I didn't talk about the White Sox series beforehand. I just want to make sure we start with the Cubs, and then we'll move on from there. So swept the Cubs, swept Oakland. With the Brewers right now, their pitching situation, 4 out of their best 5 are on the IL right now. So you're getting a bunch of young guys coming up to play. I mean, you're talking about possibly 3 series in a row you could be sweeping. Now you go to Oakland, you could be finished out the month of May with possibly we got Minnesota after that. You could possibly finish out the rest of May with like a 15-game win streak.
They're at 8 now. They've won 8 in their last 8 right now.
Yeah, they're 9-1 the last 10. So 8-0 the last 8. But you got again a hurt Milwaukee team. I don't know who's coming up for pitching the next few days, but we'll have to check that out. But I mean, 4 out of their 5 starters are on IL now as of today. Oakland, we all know how Oakland is. Minnesota hasn't been the prettiest against competitive teams. So I mean, you could be finishing out the rest of May here with a pretty good win streak here. But what's your thoughts on this Astros team?
This is what everybody was afraid of.
Exactly.
This is exactly what everybody was afraid of. Like, we knew, like, the talk at the beginning of the season, well, the Astros are not themselves. They're still the Astros, though.
Mm-hmm. History says otherwise, right? Yeah, until proven otherwise.
Still really good. I mean, like, if they were struggling like how they were beginning of the season, and it was the end of June, okay, we have a different conversation. I didn't buy stock into the struggles of the Astros back in April because they weren't healthy still. Altuve hadn't played until just recently. They've lost some pieces here and there at times. What happens when they get all their guys back? And I know they lost Christian Javier to Tommy John a couple weeks ago, I believe it was, which it hurts the depth of the pitching staff, but they still are deep. They're still very deep. That was the thing. Like, their depth in the pitching is there. The offensive side of the batting order is there, and they're waiting for Altuve to come back. And when you get him back, you get your leader back. What is this going to do to the team? Well, it's going to put them on a high, and we're going to see them go on a run, and that's what we're doing right now. So this was what we were afraid of. Everybody kind of was expecting this to happen. It was just a matter of when. And right on cue, Altuve comes back. They figured it out a little bit more as they were figuring out pre-Altuve coming back. He throw him back in there now, and it's like riding a bike for them. So yeah, this is not a shocker. And I said to the guys on Tuesday, the show that I'm with, Alan and Scott Coben and all them and everything, was the Rangers missed a chance where they can pull away for a little bit because they knew again that you had the Astros on your heels. It was 3-5 game lead over the Astros was not enough. Not at this point of the season. You should have done something a little bit more and be 8 games. Put yourself in an 8-game lead early on if you could have. 3-game lead was nothing to the Astros. That's what they wanted because they knew, again, when they got Altuve back, when they get some guys back in the lineup, 3-game lead will go away in a week. And so far it has.
That's right.
I want to ask you about your favorite New York Mets team. They're hot right now. They've won 5 in a row.
Hold on, Nick. We got a comment here from Kale.
Okay.
Astros got 2 hitters over 300 without Altuve. Right now, that is Marcio Dubon, the second baseman there. And then I believe he just went down today, but it would have been Yordan Alvarez, the left outfielder. So, it's impressive still. Like this team's just continuing on without Altuve the way it is. So now, sorry, I wanted to hit that comment before we moved on.
Oh yeah. So last question here before we get out of here. The Mets, your favorite team. They've won 5 in a row. Scherzer's back.
Verlander's back.
Like, hey, the Mets turning this thing around, and they're going to be who we kind of maybe thought. I know you were very low on them, but are they turning this thing around a little bit now with their 80-year-old pitchers?
I mean, this is the time for them to, again, talking about a team that has opportunities. Braves are talking about injured team with the Astros. The Braves are that right now. You have Braves are down with Fried and Wright out for a good while. So this is the time for the Mets to make some ground up, get yourself competitive in this division, because the Braves are struggling right now. They just lost tonight to the Dodgers. They've been struggling against teams that are a contending type team that we've seen throughout the year. They lose tonight to the Dodgers. They've struggled with the Astros early on. So you had teams where you're trying to measure yourself as one of the best. Braves have struggled. So this is the time of the schedule that the Braves have that the Mets need to take advantage of to kind of cut that lead down a little bit and get some ground, get some positive momentum going to where you can close that gap with Atlanta. And the Mets are doing it right now. Does it change a lot of the things that I've seen about this team as far as like their offense or pitching? We know Verlander's a good pitcher. We know Scherzer's a good pitcher in the beginning of the season. We remember, though, and I said this a couple of times on Tuesdays, Verlander struggled. He was not the same pitcher in the postseason last year. He struggled in October. He struggled in the World Series. He was not the same. Scherzer was the same way with the Dodgers. He struggled 2 years ago in 2021 against the Braves in the NLCS. He was not the same pitcher as the season went on. They're older pitchers and they're in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
They fell apart towards when the season it was just that long part of the season and drawn out to the postseason. They weren't the same. So nothing's telling me that it's going to be anything different. I don't think they found the fountain of youth yet. So am I scared of the Mets right now? No, I'm still not scared of the Mets. They have a lot of holes on their lineup still. They don't drive in runs as consistently unless you're Pete Alonso. The rest of the guys, I said, there's a lot of inconsistency. And as good as Atlanta's offense is, you can't be inconsistent against them. That's just not me. So this is the time for the Mets to kind of figure it out with the Braves injured and reeling a little bit. I just don't think the long-term success is there for them. They're going to struggle, and they're going to continue. At times, they're very streaky. We saw it. They had a very bad stretch against the Tigers and Reds at one point. Now they're going to win some games. They'll have another bad stretch at one point. Then they'll win
it's baseball, though. I mean, everybody kind of has
those. It is, but you don't do that to the Reds and Tigers. You don't. You don't do that to them. You can do that, like Braves right now. You can do it to the Dodgers. You can do it to the Astros when you play them. You can have those moments where you struggle at times. But when you play against a last place team, where you like the Reds, or you play a team that hasn't done anything, that wasn't planning to do anything this year in the Tigers, you don't lose those series. You can't. And that's the part where I look at it and says, which real team is the Mets? The ones who played those two teams and lost the series, or the ones what they're doing right now? That's what we're going to be determining as we're getting through June and July. If they're continuing that stretch where they lose teams they shouldn't lose to in July, no, this is not a team that's gonna catch the Braves, especially as Fried. I don't think Kyle Wright's coming back this season. Max Fried will. You get your ace back, along with Spencer Strider and Charlie Morton, both pitching well right now. If you Braves still have a lead at that point when Fried comes back, they're not going to catch them. Not this year. The Braves have it in their mind. We've caught the Mets twice, back-to-back years when we were down double-digit lead in the division. They're not going to let that happen to them, because they know it will happen if they just coast. So the self-awareness is there in Atlanta. It wasn't there the last 2 years with the Mets. So I'm not buying it right now. This is the time for the Mets to make that run, but long-term success, I don't see it.
I'm kind of. I mean, it's inconsistent all the way around in this NL East, anyways. Miami, Philly. I mean, both of them have touched second place as well in this division.
I gotta say this before we get out of here too. Here come the fucking Cardinals. By God,
genius!
I knew it. I mean, here they come, Jonathan. They just took 3 out of 4 from the Dodgers. They're 7-3 their last 10. They bench my guy Willie, and what's he do? He fires right back, and he's got him playing well. He's playing well. That's what they got. You know what? That's what they get for disrespecting Willie. But now I'm glad that he's playing well. But damn it, like I hate the Cardinals. What this is? We know this is. It's in their pedigree to turn this thing around. They're going to win this division. Here they come. Here they come.
Like I said, it's really in spite. They're doing this in spite of the issues that happened to Wilson Contreras. That's how I view it. I mean, again, they're too good. Like, you have Goldschmidt and Arenado and Contreras. All three could be MVP candidates, and they have been MVP candidates at some point in their careers. You have a lot of young, talented players. I mean, like, it was going to. They couldn't be this down of a team. I've been down on them, and I've said Marmel may get fired here during the season. I could see it. I don't think it will actually happen just because that's not the Cardinals' way. I could see them just absolutely tanking this season just because they're just so fed up with the front office and Marmel itself.
Too talented to tank.
The professionalism kicks in with Goldschmidt and Arenado and Contreras to be like, screw all that. We're going to go play ball. We are a good team. We're going to go show it. We're going to go prove it. We're going to stick out, have a middle finger up to those who, to the front office that try to create bullshit on us. And we're going to go and win ball games and get ourselves back in this division, potentially win the division.
I think so. I think they're going to
lose.
Yeah, it is right now, but I think it's the Cardinals are still here. They come. Like it's going to happen. Like you said it. Like Willie is fired up. They got Arenado and Goldschmidt. Like their team is
perfect time though.
And the Cardinals should have known it takes a while for a new catcher and a new pitching staff to mesh. And they just wanted to pump it all on Willie. It was all Willie Contreras' fault. That's why the team was atrocious for the first month of the season. Well, by God, give the kid his flowers right now, will you? Because they're turning it around, and he's been the catalyst. I'm tired of all these Cardinal fans. Some of them are coming around now, but they're for like the last month. Oh, we made a mistake. A stupid Cub. We signed a stupid Cub. He's an awful catcher. Blah, 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 blah. He doesn't know how to handle a pitching staff. Get out of here. Give him time. Give him time. It takes time, patience. It's a marathon, folks.
Well, you know what? I actually think, if I remember correctly, because I think there was the interview that Jack Flaherty gave, and it almost sounded like he threw Contreras under the bus. That's where it started. That's where it started. A lot of like that Contreras and Flaherty weren't on the same page. He wasn't on the same page with the pitching staff. It was indirectly. Throwing Contreras under the bus. He didn't mention Contreras' name, but there was a lot of disconnect with Flaherty. It was as a while back as it was that something wasn't right. So that's what stirred it up. And I think I agree with you. Cardinals fans took Flaherty's side and be like, well, this has got to be Contreras' fault. How you going to blame the catcher for the pitcher struggles? The pitcher's the one who, again, they're calling the pitches. And it was actually, I don't know if y'all saw recently, AJ Pierzynski, he made a comment about this and on a show last week. And he goes, how is it my fault? You're throwing the ball. You want to call the pitch? By all means, here, you let me know what the pitch, what you want to throw. I'll put the finger down. And guess what? When you release it and they hit it 500 feet, that's not my fault. That is your fault. And
that was a great comment by him.
I love it. I love AJ. I've loved AJ for a long time, just because again he's one of those guys who will speak his mind.
Speaking of that, it was I think today was the anniversary of him getting socked in the face by Barrett.
Barrett.
Yeah, in the Cub Sox. It was like the anniversary, just like this week, like either today or like this past weekend. It came across my timeline.
But he spoke the truth though. He spoke the truth. Like that's what's going on in baseball now. Catchers, it used to be the catchers called the games. It's not that way anymore.
Mm-mm.
Pitchers call the games more now than they ever have before. So ask the question again, why is it Wilson Contreras' fault that the pitching staff's not responding to him when he's probably not calling the games as much anymore? It's coming from the pitchers. So again, Flaherty, those guys, they're throwing the pitches. They're going a long way. Why is that on Wilson? So it made no sense. It really didn't make a lot of sense to me that Contreras was the scapegoat. And I think by Cardinals fans, it's just as you probably kind of in a way, as you said, emotionally, Nick, he's a former Cub. It's very easy to blame a player who came from your rival and wasn't really your first choice because the loyalty the Cardinals fans have to Yadier Molina.
Yeah, they've had, pitching or catching greatness for the last 20 years. And
right.
I mean, while Willie's great, by all means, he's no Yachty, especially behind the plate. Like,
right.
he's above and beyond him at the plate, but behind the plate, there's not very many people that ever picked up a baseball that's as good as Yadier Molina behind the plate.
It just didn't make any sense. Again, like I said, I think it's the emotional side of replacing Yachty and then it being a former Cub. Because the Cardinals wanted Sean Murphy at one point too. I think if Sean Murphy was traded to St. Louis instead of Atlanta, I don't think Cardinals fans have the same fire to blame the catcher for the pitching struggles. I think that's the emotional side of that is Wilson Contreras, who came from Chicago, their rival.
He's also full out vet.
Yes.
So you can blame the older guy.
Yeah. So and that's poor. That's poor decision making on fans, and even poor decision making on the Cardinals front office for even fueling it by doing what they did, throwing him under the bus, saying we're going to move him to the outfield. You are never going to move Wilson Contreras to the outfield. Never were going to do that.
Yeah.
Why was that even a thought? Why was that even printed? For anybody to read, so that you had to play. You had to basically go, self-control and really save yourself at a marketing and PR standpoint. Made no sense, and they corrected it as fast as they could. Like, oh, we're just giving him some time, or kind of reassess, let him DH, let him kind of digest everything, slow things down, and then we're gonna put him back behind the plate because that's what we want him to be. He's a catcher. No shit. You paid him that much money to be the replacement to Yachty, not to go be the replacement to Harrison Bader in the outfield that you traded to the Yankees. You brought him in to replace to Yadier Molina.
Amen to that.
Gail says, all done to deflect the blame from Ollie. Yep.
But see, that in a way, but the front office doesn't even want Ollie Marmol. The front office, they don't want him either. They're ready to fire him. They just don't know when they want to do it. If they want to wait to the end of the season to do it, or do it if they've fallen off even more, they do it midseason. They're saving him for the entire season. By the way, they're playing right now. More likely that decision will be at the end of the season.
I don't think at the trade deadline that I could see the front office not making any real moves. So like they can say, well, they can fire him. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they're going to help him.
No, they can sell a little bit though. You can find a player to sell. Tyler O'Neill. There's already an issue with Tyler O'Neill and Ollie Marmol. There were some issues, and if you're just to kind of not O'Neill, just because the spat that he and Marmol had earlier this year, you might find somebody else and just sell to get a little piece here and there and say, all right, look, do your job. If you make it to the postseason, great. If you win the World Series, you'll stay. But if you don't make it to the World Series, you're done. We're moving on, and we got Yachty's contract already written up to be the manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. Jonathan, what you got coming up this weekend, dude?
Man, I am finally. Again, I told you I was gonna be hyped up about this week. I am finally being back on the ball field to coach this weekend. My 16U team is in action for the first time this summer. I'm excited to be back with those girls to be able to play, have them play this weekend. And I get to be the head coach. I get to step in the head coaching role. Finally, it's been a long spring out for me, so I get to actually do my job that I love to do. So I had that. I'm getting everything kind of prepared and ready for that. We have our younger 14U teams in action as well this weekend. Our 12U teams in action this weekend again. So we're heading full steam ahead right now. All the teams in Alpha are active now, all 7 teams. So we're really rolling now with that. So I'm kind of getting things situated with that this weekend, because I know next weekend I'll be on the road. My 18U team next weekend is going to be in a showcase. So everything I'm doing, preparing right now, getting things ready for the summer, getting ready for my team, my 16U team getting going. And then I know it's going to be very busy the rest of the way from here on out. So I'm excited. I told you guys I'm hyped up. I'm going to be hyped. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see my girls play again and see the growth that they've been able to achieve this spring and even during the winter this past winter. I'm ready. I am so ready to be able to go out there and be on the field again.
Hey, that's awesome to hear, Kale. Later, man. Thank you for tuning in and commenting. Jonathan, it's been a blast having you on Buffoon and Botkins for a year now. So excited to see what comes of it starting in June 5th, man. Excited to get you on the bigger show that's about to drop here in a couple weeks.
Man, like I said, I'm hyped for y'all. I'm hyped for it. I can't wait to see everything how it turns out and how things get rolling from there. And that first show, I'll be looking forward to it and ready to hop on to you guys and be part of the new chapter with y'all.
Awesome, man. Hey, I'll be in contact. We'll get it all set up.
Sounds good, guys.
Hey, best of luck to you guys this weekend, Jonathan. Kick some ass out there.
Oh, we will, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care of him. See you, Jonathan.
See y'all.
Jonathan Gershman, Alpha Performance. Awesome stuff there. By the way, it looks like it is the end of the 4th. The Nuggets have won.
Oh, they did.
111. Blocked. LeBron had the game-winning layup there. It was blocked by Aaron Gordon, and they just couldn't quite get it back up there. So the Nuggets
and the Panthers won.
And the Panthers won
3-0.
Wow. Is this the sweep? Is this official sweep now?
For the Lakers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over.
Wow. Look at that, guys. That's insane. But LeBron finished with 40 for the game. Couldn't ask for anything else. Davis with 21 and 14. Braun with 40 and 10 and 9 assists as well. On the other side of there, Joker with 30 points, 14 boards, and 13 assists. Another triple-double. And Jamal Murray out there with 25 points, 3 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals as well. So, look, you couldn't ask for anything else. Like we talked about, you just ran into a brick wall, LeBron, and AD, or mainly LeBron. It's just what happens.
Aaron Gordon, huge game, 22 for Aaron Gordon.
I saw that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
6 and 5 there in 40 minutes. So all of these guys played heavy minutes today. Only 2 bench players were used for the Nuggets, Bruce Brown and Jeff Green. 3 for the Lakers, Russell, Tristan, and Lonnie. And it was just they went all out. Each team gave it their all. Denver wanted to finish it. Lakers were trying to stay alive there. So 113, 111 final score. Denver Nuggets.
40. LeBron 40-pointer, and he's damn near 40 years old. And
40 and 10 today.
Yeah.
And 9 assists, I think it was. I just said.
Yeah, 9 assists. Yeah, almost. He was 1 assist shy of a triple-double too.
Like, you can't ask for anything more. That's what you want to go out on. Like, if you're going to go out, that's how you go out with the best you can. And like I said, you're on a brick wall.
I want to say this before we get out of here. Get this: if the Heat win tomorrow, there's 9 damn days till we have basketball again.
That's so stupid.
9 days.
As long as we don't start till the 1st, that's okay, I guess.
Still, that's a long time.
It is. That's such a long time. I never understood the NBA schedule. Like playoffs.
Well, I don't understand it either. I guess this part is set in stone, but I would be calling everybody and anybody and be like, we got to move this shit up.
Like if this finally does it, like tell me we're not doing 9 days off to start a final.
If the Heat win today, tomorrow night, that's Tuesday. Why are you not playing? Why not have game 1 on Sunday?
Yeah, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something on the weekend.
I would say Sunday or even Monday. You know what I mean? Sunday or Monday. 9 days.
Memorial night, like that'd be huge.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, right before holiday ends, you go late night. 8 Central.
Yeah,
or something like that. Even 7 o'clock, 8 Eastern, whatever. But yeah, what? 9? We gotta wait 9 days.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't get it. Everybody, thank you for tuning in with us for this past year. We appreciate it. Mr. Botkins over here, appreciate you joining the show with me, starting this a year ago. It's a blast doing this with you. Excited for our future adventure starting here in a couple weeks. Really excited to get that going. So it's only up from here, guys. It's not the end. We'll see you later. So everybody have a fabulous week. We'll have a fabulous weekend as well through the holiday week. We'll catch you June 5th here. Make sure you guys hit that bell, subscribe, and like as you'll see our updates coming in. So have a great week. We'll catch you guys later.
See y'all.